Welcome back to ADHD Whiskey. My name is Matt, and today we're doing something a little bit different. We're doing something a little bit outside of the box. Today, we're making a video that's going to take a lot of time that nobody will watch. Before we even get started, you'll all make very valid points in the comment section below in regards to swallowing your whiskey, which makes total sense, and I pretty much agree. But there's a lot of people out there tasting whiskey without putting it all the way down the hatch. My experiment today is to find out, can I sample 6 whiskeys that are the same proof from the same distillery and be able to determine the quality without swallowing them? Is it possible? Do you have to swallow the whiskey to know if it's any good? A lot of whiskey professionals out there, like distillers and tasters, judges in spirits competitions, they're not swallowing everything they're tasting. But the question is, are they able to determine the quality without putting it all the way down in their dum-dum? I certainly didn't make it easy on myself picking 6 whiskeys from the same distillery that have the same proof. I made it a little bit more difficult. I could have went super easy and been like high rye, wheated bourbon, wheat whiskey, that kind of thing, but no. I like to challenge myself and make myself look stupid on camera. There's a second part of this experiment as well. Obviously, people who are tasting whiskey and spitting them into a can aren't doing it because they don't like swallowing whiskey. They're doing it because they don't want to get schlammered. If you're drinking whiskey all day, the schlammered train is going to arrive early, and it doesn't take no for an answer when it wants you to board. So the second part of this experiment is this. After I sample all 6 whiskeys and go back and forth a little bit, I will try to swallow as very little as possible. Obviously, there will be some residual, but is that residual enough to get me fluffed? So I'm starting the video at a 0.00 on the old blood alcohol meter. I already have these 6 bourbons poured, but let me show you what we're working with here. These are all from the Heaven Hill Distillery. They're all 100 proof. Rebel 100. Wheated bourbon. Rebel 10, 10-year wheated bourbon. David Nicholson, 1843. JTS Brown, bottled and bond. Heaven Hill, 7-year, bottled and bond. And Henry McKenna, 10-year, bottled and friggin' bond. Sample 1. I would say that's from the Heaven Hill Distillery, about 100 proof. Well, that was fun, but also not fun. I sampled through all 6 pours. I think that I was able to determine some of the lower quality whiskeys from the higher quality whiskeys. There are a few in the middle that I'm not positive about, but I'm pretty sure that the ones on the bottom should be there, and the top 2 should be there. Pretty sure. I was able to nose the whiskey just like normal. I was able to pick out flavor notes. I was able to kind of analyze the palate. A lot of people think that if you spit into a bucket, you're not going to get the finish, but you pretty much get the finish. The finish isn't exactly like it is when you swallow it, because when you swallow it, you kind of get like all the sensations in your throat and the Kentucky hug, and you get more sensation out of it, so the experience is more full. It's a fuller experience. Kind of like virtual reality adult videos. It's just a more full experience. The finish is still there, it still lingers, it still hangs around. It's not quite as enjoyable, not quite as fun, obviously, but I think I was able to determine the better whiskey, I think. I haven't checked yet. As far as the blood alcohol goes, I feel, slightly euphoric, but I don't feel inebriated. I don't feel like it's affecting anything in any way. I'm gonna give it about 15 minutes, then I'm gonna blow into my device. I'm just wondering if you can spit all day and not get schlammered, or if the residual still has enough of an effect to fudge you up. No matter what my results are, I don't want you to take it as advice. or even think that you will react the same way. Everybody's different, and it's very important that you don't drink and drive. Just saying that. I don't want to get any flack saying that I'm telling people that they can spit out whiskey and be totally sober, because that's not the case. It's different for everybody. I just want to see the effect it has on me. That's all I'm doing. The bottom two, I definitely feel were in the bottom. Number 5 came in last place, and it was super sour. It was not good. It actually was sour on the nose. Kind of felt like there's something wrong with the bourbon altogether. So, number 5 in last place was JTS Brown. So, that makes sense. It's a $10 bottle. In 5th place was also a bit sour, but also a bit corn forward. It was grain forward and a bit sour. In 5th place was Rebel 100. Rebel 100 is a sub $20 wheated bourbon. In 4th place was Heaven Hill 7 Year. Heaven Hill 7 Year came in 4th place. 3rd place was the David Nicholson. But like I said before, those two could have been flip-flopped. They could have been flip-flopped, honestly. In 2nd place was Rebel 10 Year. And in 1st place, Henry McKenna Bottled and Bond 10 Year. Am I happy with my performance? Absolutely. This went way better than I thought. So my experiment was to find out if I could sip through these 6 and determine good from bad, or low quality to high quality. The cheapest and youngest bourbons were at the back of the line. The oldest and more sought after higher quality bourbons were at the front of the line. The David Nicholson 1843 and the Heaven Hill 7 Year could have flip-flopped. The Heaven Hill 7 Year was actually quite a bit nutty comparatively. This super scientific experiment was a success. Can you taste and analyze whiskey without swallowing it? Yes. So not drinking the whiskey doesn't make the whiskey less good. It just makes it less enjoyable, if that makes sense. I'm gonna go ahead and do the outro right now, and then after the credits roll, I'll blow into this device to find out if my blood alcohol level is naughty or nice. My name is Matt, this is ADHD Whiskey, and like I always say, keep your head in the clouds but your mind on testing things you're unsure about. Like how quickly you can stop your minivan, how many push-ups you can't do, how many days in a row you can eat KFC, how many squats you can get out of these pajama pants, how many times you can say yes dear before getting slapped in the face, how long you can grow your grass before your neighbors complain, how good you are at tasting without drinking, how good you are at chewing without eating, and how good you are at saying I love you, and how many subscribers you can get by asking nicely, will you please subscribe to my channel? All things you just don't know until you find out for yourself. Son of a bee. I gave myself about 15 minutes. I measured my spittoon, and that spittoon rang in at 5 ounces. So, in about an hour's time, I spat out 5 ounces of whiskey, which would have gotten me super slammered. Now let's see what happens when you don't put those 5 ounces down the hatch. Waiting for baby blue here to hit 0, and I'm gonna blow in this bugger like this bugger's never been blown in before. Don't take this for advice. I'm not telling you that if you spit your whiskey out into a bucket, that you won't be slammered or a drunk mother truck it. All I'm saying is these were my results for tonight, and that's cool to see. I guess tonight was a great success for me, except for I feel like I drank no whiskey, which is the truth. I didn't drink any at all. Son of a bitch.